and talk.
Okay.
I'm
going to get a lot of text messages.
Okay, hi everyone. Thank you for waiting. There were some technical difficulties with the stream, so I am doing it from a phone instead of my computer. Okay, thanks again for your patience. I'm just gonna get settled here. And hi Laura. Feel free to say hello in the chat if you're here. My name is Joann, and I'm a practitioner at Natural Healing Center, and we are going to be talking about meal prep tonight. So this is like a really good practical one. A lot of times I hear from clients, who are trying to make changes with their foods and start healthy habits, how much they want to start meal prepping, but for whatever reason, it's not happening. And sometimes I hear, I'm really busy, or it takes too much time, or I'm just cooking for myself or one other person, or I don't know where to start. So I'm going to give you some simple tips and tricks to make meal prepping more accessible for you, and also in a way that's sustainable, so you can incorporate it into your lifestyle. And it is what I consider to be a self-care practice. I was once taught, that holistic health is all about approaching different areas of our lives from a place of self-care. So you can think of approaching your foods that way too. So are you choosing to take some time to be mindful with your choices, eating the way that you intend to eat, taking the time to really cook your food so that you can cook and prep your food so that you can care for yourself? And you can apply that to any area of your life. So think of like your physical activity, exercise, how you move your body, and how that can be an act of self-care. We weren't meant to sit around all day, no judgment at all, but ask yourself what would be like an act of self-care in that area of your life. Do you like to run, walk, hike, do yoga? And I encourage you to try to do more of that. And you could reflect on, self-care in terms of your relationships and who you're spending time with, and what boundaries would be appropriate. Your finances, how can you practice self-care with your finances and how you spend your money, manage your money? What do you do for your work and your living? Does it give you a sense of purpose, or what's the intention there? And you can go on to so many different facets too, like your home environment, creativity, education. So I am going to focus on food today, so that's what food prep is all about. And let me go ahead and just glance at my notes. Okay. All right. So before we get into the how-tos of meal prepping, I want to emphasize that there are really two things that need to happen. So one is you need to make meal prep a priority. That's really what it comes down to. And then the second thing is that you need to set aside time to do it. So if those two things aren't happening, if meal prep is like low on the priority list, or if you're not allotting the time to get it done, then it's not going to happen. It's just kind of plain and simple like that. So consider if you can do those two things, and if you can, then we can go ahead and get started. So where do you start when it comes to meal prepping? The first thing I suggest is, I do all this stuff, by the way, so if you have questions, this is what has worked for me, and so I hope you can take bits that have worked for you. But it starts with making a plan, and if you're new to meal prepping, then you can start small. I'm going to walk you through kind of like planning for breakfast, lunch, dinners, and snacks throughout the week. But If that is a little bit too much to take on all at once, then start with one thing. So maybe you're meal prepping breakfast every morning. That's a part of the day that kind of gets away from us sometimes. We're busy getting ourselves ready, maybe our family members, maybe our pets, getting ready for the school day or for work. So it's good to have things that are easy and ready to go. So maybe you just start with having a solid breakfast, like how you start the day really sets the tone. So if you're able to kind of take time for self-care, nourish yourself with healthy, nourishing foods, then that'll give you a good start to the day and also boost your metabolism, give you energy, and then you can build on from there. So you start with breakfast, maybe you add in snacks that you meal prep, and then go for lunch and dinner when you're ready. And let's see, so what I like to do is I like to brainstorm 2 to 3 different options for breakfast, and then 2 to 3 different options for your snacks, 2 to 3 for your lunches, and then same thing with dinner. And you want to consider emphasizing whole foods. So those are going to be like foods in their most natural state. So fresh fruits, fresh vegetables, good quality proteins, chicken, eggs, salmon, whatever it is that you like to eat. And then you also want to incorporate some healthy fats on your plate, so olive oil, avocado, and you can go for a mix of foods that are either like one that you can prep in like bulk. So say you have a package of chicken, you can make all that chicken at once, or a big fillet of salmon that you can cut up, and then also you can bulk prep like veggies and stuff like that. But you also want to have some options that are just going to be like really quick and easy for you to whip up. So maybe that's like some fresh salads, maybe that's like a wrap or like a sandwich or something like that. Something that requires like really minimal effort, so you're not spending a lot of time cooking. And I feel like that's a good balance when you have food that is prepped in bulk, that is ready to go, and also some quick and easy things you can throw together to kind of spice up the week too. And also consider, as you are prepping for the week ahead, what's already in your pantry. So if you, or in your refrigerator, so you can think of like, okay, I have these zucchini left over from last week, I have some chicken I didn't use, I have some sliced turkey meat, then you can incorporate it into this week's meal prep. Okay, so I invite you to do this now if it's appropriate for you. If you're not driving, you take out a piece of pen and paper, and we're going to write down what would be some good options for breakfast, for lunch, for dinner, and for snacks. So I'll share some of my kind of go-to options with you. So what would you want to meal prep for breakfast? Some of my go-tos would be like eggs and veggies. I do a lot of like boiled eggs in the mornings with sweet potato, avocado. Another go-to of mine that's easy to meal prep is chia pudding. And that's with chia seeds, usually like hemp milk or almond milk, a little stevia. I might throw some other like nuts in there and seeds, so like maybe hemp or pumpkin seeds, maybe some blueberries. Buckwheat is one that I like to meal prep, and you can do it savory or sweet, kind of like you do like the similar ingredients to the chia pudding, or you can cook it in a chicken broth and have it be savory, maybe add like a soft boiled egg and some sauteed veggies to it. Protein shakes, so consider what you like for breakfast. Choose 2 to start. You can always work up to 3 later, but just choose 2, and then do the same thing for lunch. So what would be some good options for you to have for lunch? For me, some things that are quick and easy are like salads. I can prep a bunch of use the same ingredients really, and like prep a bunch of salads for the week. I could do like turkey lettuce wraps, and use like either a grain-free tortilla or an egg life wrap. Tuna salad is an easy one. A lot of times my lunch is like the leftover dinner from the night before. And then after lunch, like what would be some good ideas for meal prepping for dinner. Hi, Jacqueline. I'm glad you're on here. Feel free to say hi in the comments. I am on my phone, and I'm not as sure how to check the comments on there while I'm talking. But in the case that you have questions and you ask them in the comments, I will respond afterwards. But yeah, I appreciate you being here. So dinner options could be like a protein and veggies. It could be that simple. So maybe you're having like a fillet of salmon or tuna, whatever fish you like, and then a bunch of veggies or a side salad. It could be like a grain-free pasta. Hearts of palm pasta is great. It's low carb. It's super easy to make. It's pretty much like ready right out of the packaging. And you could do that with salmon or chicken, or again, whatever protein that you like. And then you also want to think of 2 to 3 different, let's start with 2, sorry, ideas for snack. Cut up veggies are a great snack. You could do celery, and you could pair that with almond butter. You could do cucumber and pair that with tahini dip. Pickles are a really good snack, dill pickles especially. Raw nuts and seeds like raw almonds, pistachios, macadamia nuts. Those work really well, and they're really good for on the go. So go ahead and write whatever 2 options for each down if that's appropriate for you right now. If you're driving or something like that, maybe just make a mental note. And then what you're going to do with that information is you're going to make a grocery shopping list. So think about, take a little inventory of what you already have in your refrigerator, freezer, pantry, and then what are the ingredients needed for the meals and snacks that you wrote down. And then you're going to basically write in anything that's missing that you need to get at the store, in addition to like any other staples in your pantry that also need to be restocked. You can add that to your grocery list as well. So that could be like your oils like olive oil, avocado oil, spices, sea salt that you might be running low on, nut butter, or like any canned foods like canned tuna or beans. And then what you're going to do next. So I really break down meal prepping into 2 parts. So one is you have to have the food to prep. So you have to go to the grocery store. And then the second is you got to take the time to actually cook and portion out the food. So that can happen on the same day. If you have the time and that works out for your schedule, or you choose one day that you're doing the grocery shopping and then another day that you're going to do the prep for it. So it's really what is going to work best for you. I have minimal time during the week for meal prep, so I usually do it all on Sunday, and that's what works for me. And you can find what works best for you, and sometimes if your schedule changes throughout the week, then it's just kind of planning in advance. Okay, like this is the day I'm going to go shopping, and then this is the day I'm going to prep. Okay, all right, so just take a look here. Okay, all right, so now you are at the store and you're going grocery shopping. So you want to bring your list with you, and you want to try to stick to it as best you can. You can allow for some flexibility with things that are like on sale or something like that. So say you plan for to get carrots or something like that, but zucchini's on sale, so you can switch that up. So you can allow for some flexibility there. You want to try to remember to not go to the store hungry, so have a snack before you go, because you're going to be more likely to kind of veer off from your list and go for some ready to eat, potentially like snack foods in the case that you're really hungry. Shop the perimeter of the store, so the outside of the store. That's where you're going to find the freshest foods, so your fresh fruits and veggies and proteins. The only area that you're probably going to try to skip is the like bakery And then read all the labels on your foods. So make sure that you are ignoring all the marketing that's on there that can be really misleading, that you're going straight to the ingredients list. That ingredients list is hopefully relatively short. All the ingredients on there that you can pronounce, and you're avoiding refined grains, added sugar, or like highly processed oil. So that'll be now you got your grocery trip, and then you'll go home and you'll have all your food. And so either that day, if you are choosing to prep your food, then you'll continue with that, or you'll save it for another day, but now you have food for the week. So that's step one, and that's really good. So when you are ready to start prepping your food, first thing you want to do is, if you purchase any fruits or vegetables, make sure that you are giving them a good wash. You can soak them in 2 parts water to 1 part distilled white vinegar. Let it sit for about 5 minutes. Give it a good scrub if necessary, and then rinse it again. It's really nice having like chopped up fruits and veggies in the refrigerator that are prepped, because say you get hungry and you reach for a snack and you open up the refrigerator, and if they're already there and they're ready to go, then you're going to be more inclined to eat them. Say if they weren't there, then you would probably maybe reach for like another option that wouldn't be as great. So good to have those there. And then I want to talk about like batch cooking your protein and veggies. So basically, batch cooking is when you're preparing like large quantities of foods that you can use throughout the week, and you can use them in different ways. So when something is already batch cooked, it's going to save you time cooking throughout the week. So let's say, for example, you went to Costco and you bought like a big fillet of salmon, or you went and just got like the fillets that are already cut up into individual pieces. You can cook all those at once. Say you decide you put them all in the oven with like a little bit of like dill and salt, and then you can take them out and you can use that salmon in different ways. So say, for example, you do like for some of the meals you do salmon, and then you do like a side of like broccoli and zucchini and like other vegetables. So that's one way you could use the salmon. Or you decide to throw the salmon, you take some of the salmon and you put it in to make like salads. And then you could also use the salmon and you could make like a pasta with it, with like a grain-free pasta or like a hearts of palm pasta. So now you have like all this protein that you made all at once, but you're using it in different ways. And you could do the same thing with any kind of protein. So if you were, if you like prefer chicken or something like that, you could do the same thing with chicken, essentially. I like to cook, I like to batch prep boiled eggs. Again, I don't have like a whole lot of time in the morning to kind of like sit down, to not to like cook a meal essentially, but I do try to sit down. And you could make like 6 boiled eggs at a time or more than that, and then you're just having like 1 or 2 in the morning as part of your breakfast or as a snack. Sometimes I'll have it on its own. Really good protein that way. You could also chop them up and put them into a salad too. Veggies are also really great for batch prepping, so you can fill a sheet pan with different veggies, bake in the oven with salt and whatever seasonings you prefer. And then you can take those veggies out and you can add them into salads. You can throw them into like a breakfast scramble. You can put them in tacos. You could add them as a side to that chicken or salmon or whatever steak, whatever protein you're having. I often batch prep sweet potatoes. Again, I have those a lot in the morning, and I also have them as a snack. That could be what's really great is if you have like an Instant Pot or some kind of pressure cooker, and you can make a bunch. You can bake a bunch all at once. I'll be home soon. And that makes it like, you know, it's like really easy and it's there for you to have. Okay, so you've prepped all this like protein and veggies now, and so what would be really good is to portion out your foods. And so when you portion out your foods, you it'll save you time, but it will also you can have more control of your portion sizes. So this is really good if weight management is one of your goals. So you want to try to remember to go for a quarter of your plate protein at every meal, about the size of the palm of your hand, and then go for 2 to 3 more of vegetables with some good added fats like avocado or olive oil that's unheated. I would suggest storing your food in glass containers, which are going to be fine to put in the refrigerator or freezer, or to put in an Instant Pot to heat it up, because I would avoid using a microwave. Also avoid plastic containers because they can leach chemicals into your food. If the glass container has a plastic lid, that's perfectly fine, but just avoid the food touching the lid if you can. So then you'll have, so at this point we made a list, we've gone to the grocery store, we've batch prepped all this food, and we've proteins and veggies, and we've mixed and matched them together. So now we have these like individually sized portions, and you are good to go on like a good number of breakfasts and lunch and dinners throughout the week. What you can consider too is like actually making more than you need. A lot of times with clients, I'll hear them say like, well, I don't want to meal prep because I don't want to eat the same thing every week, you know, or all week long, which I totally get. So say, for example, you've made like salmon and veggies, and you've made 4 containerfuls of them. And now what you can do is like, say you want to have like 2 of them during the week, you put them in your refrigerator, and then you put the other 2 in the freezer. And then that way, say like in the coming week or however long you are short on time, now you have like a quick and easy meal in your freezer that you can take out, unthaw, and heat up, and it's ready to go. Some foods that work really well in the freezer would be like soups and stews and things like that, but really anything you can thaw and reheat. Like you could do like a pasta with sauce and protein. I make a lot of curries, so when I make curry, I make a lot of it, and I don't want to eat it all week either, so I'm just taking a few portions out and then freezing the rest, and I'm individually portioning them out, so it's like when I take them out, it's just like ready to go, that one portion size. And yeah, okay, so plan for leftovers. Some other tips and tricks that I have for you are, you know, meal prepping can be a bit of a daunting task to start. So if it's overwhelming and you're really busy, you can make it easier for yourself by getting some things at the grocery store that are already like semi-prepared. So one example that I give clients is like going to Sprouts or to Whole Foods and getting like the rotisserie chicken from there. And you can use that in different ways. So you can throw it in salads, you can make a chicken salad with it, you could put that in a wrap or on like a grain-free bread. You could just have the chicken itself with sweet potatoes, Brussels sprouts, a side salad, whatever you like. You could throw it in with a pasta. Canned tuna is another good one that's ready to go. Go for a wild-caught variety if you can, but you really don't have to take it out and do too much of it. You can add some good quality mayo. Primal Kitchen is a good brand. Throw in some dill pickles, some onions, and you'll have a quick and easy meal there. Another way to save time is if you do like the pre-cut veggies at the store, or like get the veggie tray, and like it's gonna be a little bit more expensive, but if it makes meal prep a little bit easier for you and less stressful, and it ensures that you get some good veggie intake throughout the week, then I'd say go for it. Maybe you don't do it every week, but it's an option that might support you. Hearts of Palm noodles and shirataki noodles. They're veggie-based noodles, very low carb. They're pretty much ready to go out of the bag. So you just drain, rinse, and then you heat it up. You can throw those in soups or in pasta dishes, whatever you like. They're really easy. Pickles. Those are a really good snack, and you can use them in for your meals if you're having like burgers or canned tuna or egg salad or something like that. That's a good one to have on hand. And so even if we make all these plans to meal prep, sometimes things don't happen the way that we intend. So it's always really good to keep your pantry and your freezer stocked. It doesn't have to be like crazy stocked, but you want to have some few things in there that you can throw a meal together. So things that to consider adding are like canned goods. So you could do like tuna, coconut milk, beans, olives, things that are gonna last quite a while. And then for foods that you regularly prepare and make, maybe you pick up like an extra serving of them when you're at the grocery store. So say I go through a lot of like hemp milk, so I always buy like 2 at a time in the case that like I don't make it to the grocery store before I run out of one. You can, anything in the freezer, so you can get some like grain-free tortillas, grain-free bread. I always keep my grain-free tortillas and bread in the freezer, and I just take one out as I need it. Other things you could load up on are like sauces and seasonings, like coconut aminos, tahini. I recommend buying like nuts and seeds in bulk, like chia seeds. You could use that for chia pudding, and they last quite a while too. Raw almonds, pistachios, things like that. Another one is like protein powder. You can always have that in your pantry. You can make smoothies with it. I throw some protein powder in my buckwheat or even in my chia pudding. You could do dried foods, so like jerky, like a sugar-free jerky, dried seaweed. You could use the dried seaweed with the tuna and have a good meal there. Get some good phytonutrients from the seaweed. And then it's good also, in addition to the pantry, the freezer is a good place to store like frozen fruits and frozen vegetables, which you can make an easy meal with. When it doesn't even necessarily have to be like bought frozen either. Say, for example, you bought all this produce at the grocery store, you didn't go through all of it during the week, and you know it's like almost gonna go bad if you don't soon, then just throw it in the freezer and you can repurpose it in either like a cooked meal, or a lot of times I'll throw frozen veggies in a smoothie, and when it's frozen, like the taste is a lot more palatable. In addition to that, you can have some frozen chicken or shrimp or like deli meat in there too. So that's a way that when meal prepping goes awry or you don't make it to the grocery store, so you got really busy, now at least you have some things that you can whip up pretty fast. Okay, so I went through that kind of fast, but you have the replay, and I apologize for being late to our Facebook Live today, but thank you for attending. If you did leave any comments, I'll be sure to take a look and get back to you if you had any questions. Next week, we're going to be talking about cooking your foods and like the best methods to do so, what also would be good for you to avoid in terms of healthy cooking practices. And again, my name is Joann. I'm a nutrition response testing practitioner here at Natural Healing Center. We work with clients to improve their overall health naturally. Every new client starts with an initial consultation, so we do a myriad of different tests to see if there's any stressors on the body, which can be like metals, chemicals, food sensitivities, bacteria, virus, parasites, whatnot. And then we look to see what helps to rebalance the body naturally, really using food as a driving force. and then taking a look at any nutritional deficiencies and where whole food supplements might help in bridging any nutritional gaps. We invite you back. We'll go over all the results of your testing along with our recommendations, and if it sounds like a good fit for you, then we can go ahead and get started from there. But either way, you get so much information from doing that initial consult. The regular price for that is $2.99, but if you mention this Facebook Live, then you get a $50 discount. If you have any questions about working here with us at Natural Healing Center, how the initial consultation works, you can send us a message or you can give us a call at 714-549-4435. And I hope you got some tips from today's talk, and I hope to see you on here again soon. Thanks so much for joining. I appreciate your time, and I'll see you later.